Do you think prescription contraception and diabetes medication should be federally funded?
Technically, there are other more important stuff that needs to be federally funded, but I don't see how those two came to the priority.
It's such a basic need that it should be part of just standard everything. Wi-Fi, teeth, all of that should just be a given. Glasses, simple, coat hanger around a piece of glasses, shoes, toothbrushes, all that should just be basic stuff. So yeah, insulin, yeah.
Yeah. More and more Canadians have diabetes, and contraception isn't just to prevent pregnancy. Half the population is female, and there are lots of reasons, such as endometriosis, that require contraceptives to just control that condition. So.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a tough question. I mean, I think governments always have to make choices about where they spend money. As a woman, I am all for contraceptives being funded. I think that that's something that's really vital, especially for younger women. I think that that's something that we need. Yeah, I think that's, and diabetes medication, that's not something that's really personal to me, but I mean, I wouldn't say that it's really tough to make decisions about what should be funded and what should not be funded. I think that I disagree with some things, with some decisions that the federal government has made in terms of where we spend our money. I think there's all kinds of better choices that could be made, but if there's money for it, yeah, I do. I think, people would like that, and I think that's a good thing.
Healthcare is a provincial responsibility. I'm unsure is exactly how they are going to get provincial buy-in to something they've been trying to get buy-in to as far as pharmacare goes for 50 years and failed. So how is that going to work? And it's quite obvious that they launched it on the provinces with almost no consultation.
Yes, I do think it should be. I mean, we've got to look at the health of the nation, okay? Contraception, yes, contributes to overall health of the nation. Diabetes, yes, diabetes is a problem. So let's make it manageable for Canadians who unfortunately are suffering from diabetes. We got to look after the population. It's about the wealth of Canada. So health equates to wealth.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's a healthcare component, so it's all healthcare, and it should be, yes.
100%, yes. Yes. Because, it's an issue and it can affect many other problem issues. And I think if we deal with it seriously, we will avoid to pay many money for other people if they have consequence.
Yeah, I share the same opinion as her, because I've read actually recently on the internet that diabetes has become an even worse problem than people starving. And I think that we should definitely fund more money into this cause.
Absolutely. Especially, both of them equally. Diabetes, it's an ailment that people, it's difficult to control, and why wouldn't it not be on the prescription? Contraception is a very good way that any kind of wealthy small nation should be dealing with, because the population control ends up actually being good for budgets in the long run. So if it's not covered, you're basically gonna pay for it down the road.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Why or why not?
Especially with contraceptive, every woman almost needs it or takes it. And then diabetic medication, I know, can be super expensive. And that's not something, it's like a choice, you're just kind of born with it. And so to be forced to have to pay for something like that, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's just I think it's like a human right. You need to have access to that. So that's why I would say yes.
But if they're going to claim, hey, our healthcare is free, then give us free healthcare. That should be our medication. That should be all different kinds of operations, right? It shouldn't just be some of it, which is, oh, this is less expensive for us. It should be all in all, anything to do with our bodies. When it comes to a medical standpoint, it should be free.
Again, as someone who has many diabetics in my family, it's a life-saving, medication. Everybody should have access to it, because again, some people may not be able to afford it. My grandmother, for example, she's on disability. If she had to pay for diabetes medication herself, she wouldn't have been able to afford it. You know what I mean? But thankfully, the government, because of her disability, was able to cover a majority of the cost. But again, without that medication, she wouldn't have survived as long as she would have.
Well, I think if this is the start, of other things to be being paid for by the government, that's a good thing. But to just do things like diabetes, I think is a bit discriminatory. Because there's lots of other medications that people take through no fault of their own, and they're having to pay for it.
And dental as well. Dental shouldn't be a luxury. It's part of our body. It's essential, so it shouldn't be this expensive.